Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show. I'm Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network, and we are at the Irwindale Speedway. It stinks to see this track, go to the history books and get demolished, but luckily we can enjoy here on the sim and keep the great racing alive that this track produces. Looking real quick at practice here. Here's the times, and of course that red 44 machine sits atop of the charts here in practice, so we'll see if he can back that up here in qualifying in just a few seconds. Of course, like always, qualifying is going to be 2 laps shootout here. Going to take your best of your 2 laps. That will determine the starting order here tonight. And then, of course, here with this series, we do have the all-important 12-car invert. And that will determine where everyone rolls off for the grid here tonight. As we take a look at some drivers here rocking and rolling to the Speedway, I say we take a look here at the 93. Here is Andrew Payne out on track. Payne already started his first lap of the 2, so we'll see what Payne can do as he crosses the stripe here. Qualifying going to go by very quickly as Payne first lap 20.50. Going to be the slowest out of anyone, probably running that high lane. We'll see Payne now drive it all the way down to that grass here in 3 and 4. Just missed the bottom by a few inches, but that should definitely be better than the first lap. Yes, it is. Goes all the way to the top. Andrew Payne so far with the quick time here tonight. Now we take a look at the Purple People Eater machine. This is the 35 machine of Hayden Swank. Swank last week back on the podium after a tough race at Slinger. Had a streak going, and he's hoping he can keep that on a big time loose there off of turn number 4 for the 35 machine. It looks like Swank only good enough for P number 11. He's just going to be in the cutoff for that invert because, of course, right now Mark Fuquay on the bubble. As we take a look here at the Flying 13 machine, this is Zach Coyer. Coyer, of course, putting together another strong season coming into tonight. Coyer sits 13th in the points, a very tight battle for right outside of that top 10. So Coyer hoping he can get something going on here tonight and continue to climb up the standings. Coyer, that lap number 1, good enough for P number 17. Zach Nichols to the top with a 19.74. So that will put Zach Nichols with the quick time award as we wait for a few other cars to get out on track here, but only 3 minutes to qualify. If someone tries to make it out, they got to do it now. It looks like one car going to try and do it. It is the 3 machine of Mike McCaskill. We'll see if he has enough time because right now it's 2:45 on the clock. It's about 20 seconds to get around. So it looks like at the moment Hayden Swank gonna start on the pole. And how about that guy sitting in P number 11? The number 2 machine of John DeMeester might be inside the invert as McCaskill misses out there for a qualifying lap. But a big shout out to the 44 machine of Zach Nichols as he'll walk away once again with another qualifying pole award here tonight. And I have to double check really quick here. Look at all the good stats here. Looking at Irwindale Outer in the street stocks here. Last one to have it was a 19.1, so not quite good enough for a track record here tonight. But Zach Nichols walking away with another quick time award here with the Race 1 Wrap Street Stock Series. Of course, with the Street Stock Series, we got to, of course, check out here the track. Nice and even sides, but as we can see there, 3 and 4 drivers will drive all the way down to that infield grass, cut that corner instead of going that long distance around the top. But I think with the amount of power these drivers have tonight, we won't see guys consecutively run the bottom because they just won't have enough steam by, you know, lap 2 or 3 of running the bottom. So we'll see these drivers fan on out on the restarts, but then we'll see drivers muscle their way to the top side. Once again, got to give a big shout out to the title sponsor coming on board with this season, race1wraps.com. Be sure to check them out for some of the best wraps out there and some great merchandise as well. We of course have to thank LaPlante Racing Products coming on board, partnering with ASRC for another season, the caution sponsor Boardwalk Subs, and of course the other series on the Tuesday nights, the Postma Flooring late model stocks, and Postma Flooring for their great support. So like we saw there, nice day here in California for the Irwindale Speedway as we get ready to head on trackside to run through tonight's starting order for a long race, longest of the season, 125 laps. It's going to be a barn burner here tonight, folks. So starting on the pole, hitting the invert just right, will be the Purple People Eater machine, the 35 of Hayden Swank. So big time congrats to Hayden as we check out that sharp scheme. And I tell you what, I love that number, especially with that graphic shine on there. Sporty looking car for Hayden Swank. So big congrats to him. Here we go with the rest of the field. So starting on the outside of the front row will be the number 2, the Deuce. That is John DeMeester. Rolling off P, number 3 is third in points, trying to close up the battle to Ron Hart and Zach Nichols. It's the 52. That is Jeff Dillon. To his outside will be the 41. That being piloted by Caleb Ramsey. Then we head to row number 3. Rolling off 5th is Greggy Long in the 17. To his outside, the 11. That is Jaden Kratachi. Starting P, number 7 will be the 51. That is Ron the Hitman Hart. And to his outside here in the invert is the 20. That is Regan Ford. Rolling off P, number 9 will be the 88. That is Chuck Darling. And then to Darling's outside will be the 2, or the 02 of Jimmy Gauker. Rolling off P, number 11 will be the 93. That is Andrew Payne. And then 12th, our quick time here tonight, will be Zach Nichols. 13th is Mark Fuquay in the 6th. 14th, Devin McDonald. 15th is Daryl Dillon. 16th, Braden Cook. 17th, Zach Hoyer. 18th, Dave Payton. 19th, Andrew Hardings. 20th, Evan Mayberry. 21st, going to Logan Powers. 22nd, Stephen Rochford. 23rd, Ty Delphia. 24th is Ethan Terrell. And then starting shotgun on the field here tonight will be the 3 of Mike McCaskill. So that will do it for tonight's Boardwalk Subs Grid Walk as we get ready to rock and roll here for 125 laps, 25 cars taking the green flag. Hayden Swank, John DeMeester making up the front row. So here we go, iRacing pace car down from pit road. We head up to the front here as we get ready to rock and roll. Hayden Swank in the 35 leads the field into the restart zone. He will jump on the loud pedal and we go green flag racing here at Irwindale Outer. Of course, earlier this season, these guys tackled Irwindale Inner. Now doing the opposite, heading to the big track, and we see them already fanning out 3 wide further in the pack. Now they'll head through 3 and 4 and just check out these guys rocking and rolling, trying to find any sort of opening lane. We saw Ron Hart go all the way down. We'll do the same here in 1 and 2. Right in front of them, leaning on each other. That's Greggy Long and Caleb Ramsey right on each other's doors. Man, oh man, some great racing here to kick off this show here tonight. Out in front though, Hayden Swank leads over John DeMeester and Jeff Dillon side by side for second. Caleb Ramsey sitting there in fourth, just waiting to see which line has the momentum. Now it looks like DeMeester with the advantage up on the top lane will now look to the outside for the race lead as he gets the run on Hayden Swank. New race leader John DeMeester takes over the point. What a night for him. John DeMeester already has one win here in ASRC. Now out in the lead of another street stock race. His first ever win coming in the street stocks at the LA Coliseum. Now leading some laps here at Irwindale Outer. I know DeMeester out in front, fan favorite here. Now Caleb Ramsey starting to put the pressure on our race leader. He will look to the inside here in 1 and 2. Won't quite get the run there off of turn number 2. Will fall back into line as Jaden Kratachi quickly making his way through the field, already up 3 spots from where he started. He's a man on a mission. Same with this guy here trying to roll the inside lane. That's the 31 machine of Logan Powers. Powers up 5 spots from where he started as he continues to try and make his way up through the field after not taking a qualifying time, as he'll go 3 wide on Chuck Darling and Dave Payton. Now draw even with Payton. As out in front, trouble for our race leader. John DeMeester gets turned off the nose, I believe, of the 41 machine of Caleb Ramsey. We'll try and take a look here. We'll take a look here to see what brought out our first caution of the night, but as we see here, it looks like John DeMeester already sideways. But yeah, I think that started with Caleb Ramsey getting in the backside of the 2 of DeMeester. Ramsey will spin down low, get a piece of Hayden Swank as well. And luckily, everyone making pretty good evasive maneuvers to get around the 2 machine of John DeMeester, as it looks like only a 3-car incident, which could have been a lot more, especially happening right in front of the field there, coming off of turn number 2. But that will now give the race lead to Jaden Kratachi. So Kratachi's going to take over the point. Jeff Dillon in second, Long in third, Jimmy Gauker fourth. Now Regan Ford up into the top 5 here on our first restart. So first caution coming out here on lap number 9. Contact between our race leaders will send them both to the back. Luckily, I think with DeMeester getting rolling when he did, he will restart at least around the 13th position, so won't head all the way to the back. But I believe Caleb Ramsey with the claim here, so Ramsey goes all the way to the back of the field, as it looks like Kratachi will choose the inside lane. Lights are out around the Speedway. We get ready to re-rack them, restack them, and get back to green flag racing here. Kratachi, Dillon making up the front row. And coming into tonight, Jeff Dillon just 22 points back from Zach Nichols. So if Dillon can continue to string together some good results here, he will look pretty good. But sleeping on that restart was Dillon. Greggy Long will take over second. Now 3 wide here down the backstretch. Andrew Payne on the very low side, looking to the inside of Ford. Jimmy Gauker right against the fence there in the number 2. They will continue to be 3 wide here as Payne quickly goes to 2 wide as they head into turn number 1. Right behind them now, 3 wide with Powers, Hart, and Fuquay. Mark Fuquay, another driver on a mission, especially on this restart here tonight. As out in front, single file for the first 3 cars, then 2 by 2 for about 2 rows, and then we head back to this 3 wide battle still going on. As Hart and Payne go all the way to paint that inside yellow lane. And as you can see there, you can get a decent run through the middle, but just down the straightaway, can't quite hold the momentum as Fuquay muscles his way up against the fence there. Further on back, contact between the 33 and the 2. John DeMeester probably dealing with a ill handling race car there. Luckily no yellow flag, as that could have been very bad. One car kind of dropping here a little bit. Chuck Darling, I think Darling, looking at the big picture of the race, says, you know what, I know it's a long race, I'm going to try and save my stuff here. As all heads up, a slow 38 machine, Dave Payton, we'll try and see on the right side. Looks like Payton doesn't have any damage, but complaining about micro stutter, so having a little bit of computer issues for the 38 machine. As we head back now to a 3-car battle, 3 wide race in action, as Andrew Payne still has not left the bottom side of this racetrack. And if you can do it right, the bottom side can save some tires here, just because you're not carrying as much speed as you are on the top side. The question is, how many positions do you give on up and try and get to the top? It looks like Payne will slot in front of Dillon. So it looks like Payne will re-slot into right around the 8th position here at the moment. So Logan Powers, still a man on a mission here, has not saved any tires since the drop of the green flag. He is up 17 positions in these first 21 laps as he looks to try and get around Jeff Dillon for a podium position. So Powers trying to show off some muscle here as we look a little bit deeper. Another driver on a move, Stephen Rochford in that 66, trying to get around Mark Fuquay just outside of the top 10 here. Some great racing throughout the field. Now calming on down just a little bit. We have to head a little bit deeper here as Powers now getting passed by Gauker, and then further on back here, Caleb Ramsey, after that claim for the first yellow, trying to get his way back through the field, but has been very tough as he sits P number 20 here at the moment. We head back up further as right there into turn number 1, Powers will get back into line. Nichols will get a shot in the shorts from the 20 machine of Ford, as everyone has to check on up just a little bit as the car heads to the top lane. It's kind of like Martinsville, where, you know, everyone tries to fight for the bottom, and then once everyone gets to the bottom, it's that big checkup, at least going into that turn for the first time. We get the same thing, except opposite lane here at Irwindale. We'll see the checkups and the accordions happen on the top lane here tonight. So everyone now in the top, I want to say 8, single filed out as we see Payne go to the inside of Ford. Rochford still trying to tiptoe around the bottom. Rochford trying to draw even with Dillon now. We'll see if he can do just that. As we see Powers trying the same at Gauker, will jump back to the high lane. As now, you know, we started this race 3-4 wide here. Now there's about only 5 cars trying to tiptoe around the bottom here. Top side, definitely the place where these drivers want to be. So once again, Powers looking to the inside of Gauker. Almost had him clear there. Jimmy Gauker, he's a man that's had a lot of speed, but not lady luck on his side here recently. Would love to have a good finish. Last time cars were at the big track here, him and Kratachi had a photo finish to the line with Braxton DeWeese. 3-wide finish. We'll see if we get something like that here tonight. As Gauker now to the inside of Powers, they will trade some paint there in 1 and 2. Gauker right on the door panel of Powers. That is a battle for P number 4. Gauker, though, if he tries to get back in the top lane, he has to do it quick because he has Zach Nichols there right on his back bumper, breathing down his neck. As Powers once again goes to the bottom side here. First 1 and 2, Kratachi and Long starting to check on out here in front. As we look a little bit deeper in the field now, we take a look here at Chuck Darling trying to get back some of those positions after saving those tires to start the race. Right behind them, 3-wide race in action and contact there into turn number 1. Delphia will get sideways, come to a stop, but no yellow flag for the 33. I think him and I want to say it was Caleb Ramsey, both of those cars making contact there going into turn number 3. Both of them, I think, fighting for the bottom side. As further on back now, Hayden Swank going on around. He makes contact, I think, with Evan Mayberry, as Swank will try and get it rolling here. And with that, Swank will go 1 lap down here. So Swank gonna have to hope for a yellow flag before this race is over. Get back on the lead lap. Something must have happened to Hardings, because Hardings now right in front of our race leaders here in threat to go a lap down as well. As we take a look here at our race leaders, top 5, Kratachi, Long, Dylan, Powers, and now Zach Nichols up to P number 5. Further back from them, it is Gauker, Ford, Dillon, Coyer, and Rochefort. As Coyer and Rochefort making their way up into the top 10 for the first time here tonight. Long putting some big time pressure on Kratachi here. About a 1 car length separating first and second, but these guys are teammates, so I would have to think, you know, they're trying to ride around, save their stuff just that little bit if they can, because they know they still got 80 laps to go here tonight. As they get closer and closer to kick off some lap traffic here, Harding's now only 2 car lengths in front of our race leaders. Everyone else still single filed out, only battle on the speedway. Zach Coyer trying to get around Dylan. This is a battle for the 8th position here, as Coyer right on the door with him. It looks like Hardings will go a lap down here. We'll go to the bottom of the speedway, get out of the leader's way. So appreciate that from the 45 machine as we head back to this battle here. As Coyer getting that thing sideways on entry, you can see that thing walk out just a little bit. As I say, we ride on board with Regan Ford here, looking back at Zach Coyer and this battle. So interesting by Coyer, doesn't go all the way down. He still tries to keep that momentum from that second lane, just keeping right on the door of the car to the outside. As Dylan gets a piece of the wall there into turn number 1, that should allow enough room for Coyer to slot on in. Yes, it does, as Coyer will take over P number 8. As now Stephen Rochefort under fire from Fuquay, trying to put the pressure on Dylan there. So some great onboard and camera shots here tonight. As everyone else still single filed on out. Two other teammates here finding each other on the raceway. We see Ron Hart and Chuck Darling. Both these guys, it seems like, saving their tires, saving their stuff for later in this race. Predicting that we'll get some yellows at some point, but still running this bottom lane here, trying to tiptoe around the bottom, keep the speeds to a minimum, and try and keep those tires underneath these 51 and 88 machines. So Hardings was able to find a gap there between second and third. So right now, at the moment, Andrew Harding's going to be the lucky dog candidate if we do get a yellow flag. But so far, only one caution to kick off the night here tonight, happening on lap number 9 with our race leaders. Ever since then, we've been clean and green. As these drivers will start to feel very quickly here what they did to their tires, how well they saved their stuff, because now we're about 40 laps into this run. So we'll see some tire fall off, because best laps for most people were right around the 21s. Last time by, most people were in the 26s to 20.7. So already a half a second fall off here in 40 laps. And I mentioned it before here not too long ago, still a long distance to go here tonight. As we take a look here, Ron Hart trying to get around Ethan Terrell. This is a battle for the 13th position, as these guys battling side by side. That has now allowed Devin McDonald and Caleb Ramsey to join into the battle here. Three wide for just a split second, as Darling was trying to run the middle lane there through 3 and 4. He will once again go to the top side. Hart still slowly working over Terrell for that 13th position. Hart pretty much the last driver to continue to go all the way to that very inside lane there through 3 and 4. As I say, we ride on board with Ron Hart, see just how difficult this inside lane is as we go on board with him. Not going to do the line because Terrell's going to try and cross him on over. So riding on board with Hart as the 26 just pinching it up. Here we go, top side of 3 wide racing, as we'll go ride on board now with the car on the very inside. Chuck Darling here, as Darling will go all the way down, and you can see just how short this distance is compared to that top side. But like you see there, the difficult spot is coming off the corner. Can't see those cars to the right side, so you know you really got to trust your spotter and your instincts to not have those collisions on corner exit. As contact there between Darling and Terrell. They'll make contact there through 3 and 4. As Terrell will push Darling right into the corner there. Heads up, these guys getting a little aggressive towards the back of the field here. But looks like Darling able to get away from the 23 machine. Same with the 51 of Ron Hart. As, we got trouble here off of turn number 2. It looks like it is the 02 machine of Jimmy Gauker, as well as the 7 of Jeff Dillon here. So once again, Jimmy Gauker, that lady luck, still not on the number 2 side, as once again involved in another incident here. Andrew Harding's going to be the lucky dog candidate. So we'll take a look here, see what happened here off of turn number 2. So we see Gauker here going into turn number 1 up very high. Zach Hoyer right on the left rear quarter panel. And it looks like Hoyer just taps the left rear quarter panel of Gauker. Couldn't quite get it checked up with Jeff Dillon on the bottom side. It looks like Gauker will bounce off of Ford. And oh man, Jeff Dillon, just an innocent bystander, will get collected in that, and a big hit there for Jimmy Gauker against the wall. We'll run through it one more time here at full speed here. As you can see, there's the tap there to send the 2. And then there is the big time wall hit. Everyone else doing a nice job at avoiding the wreck, because once again, that's where everyone clumps on together, congests on down, and it could have been very big very quickly. And here we go once again. Quick caution laps here tonight as Jaden Kratachi once again choosing the inside lane. That'll put Long outside of the front row. Row number 2 is going to be Logan Powers, Jeff Dillon. Row number 3, Zach Nichols and Regan Ford. So it sounds like from race control, everyone not quite set where they gotta be. There further in the back, so we will send them one more lap. And I say we send them off this time from a fan cam. That's right, we got some cool looking cameras here at Irwindale Speedway here tonight, so we're gonna take a look what it's like to be a spectator here for the first few laps of this restart, as we get now very, very close to the halfway point. Alrighty, so here we go. Kratachi and Long on the front row as we go back to green flag racing right at the cross flags here. Halfway down, halfway to go as Jaden Kratachi leads the field down into turns number 1 and 2. Zach Nichols gonna make it 3 wide here, as he won't have the momentum, but will try to make it happen. Nichols gonna park it right on the nose of the number 20, way on the high lane. Here comes Ron Hart though, trying to make a move here further on back. We head back now to a different fan cam, looking a little bit lower on the front stretch and then to the back stretch, as these cars fly on by here tonight at the Irwindale Speedway. So top 6 single filed on out for the most part. First side-by-side battle is Ford and Fuquay, then right behind them Payne, Hart, and Chuck Darling, all right on top of each other. Fuquay and Ford will make contact there, 1 and 2. Right behind them, like I said, 3 wide here as Chuck Darling tries to make it work. Now, Devin McDonald will look to the inside there. Doesn't quite have the run though. Hart was able to get to the inside of Fuquay and Ford that time by through 3 and 4. We'll see if he does a similar move. Looks like no, gonna try and get that momentum built back up in that 51 machine while he has a moment. Still Fuquay, still side by side with Ford. It takes a long way. Here comes Andrew Payne, 4-wheel drifting on the inside lane, trying to make something happen, but we'll lose a ton of momentum with that. But man, some commitment from the 93 machine there to try and make something work here tonight. Fuquay and Ford still side by side. These two have been, I want to say side by side, the entirety of this race since the last restart. Those guys have not left each other's door panels yet, as Fuquay has the advantage just by a nose now. Out in front, top 5 still looking the same as before. At the moment, 23 cars still on the lead lap. Hayden Swank sits the first car and only car 1 lap down, and then Dave Payne with the connection issues sits 16 laps down, but back out on the speedway. These guys still side by side out here tonight. I say let's ride on board with the 20 machine of Ford. I believe we have a helmet cam on with him, so we'll take a look here and just see how little he's seeing, because you can see in the big mirror up in front, Ron Hart in the rear view mirror, Stephen Rochefort right in front of him, Mark Fuquay right on the door panel, and you can see sometimes just showing that nose there. So this is how tough it is here tonight, and how much these guys have to be right on the money here, as Ron Hart will make the slide job. He will get in front of Fuquay. That will break up that battle finally. As what a move by Hart to break that on up. So now it puts Fuquay to the inside of the 51 machine, as Ron Hart slowly picking off cars here after saving those tires for about those first 50 laps. Starting to turn it on up here, but he has to now keep an eye on the laps to go, because here in 2 laps, it will only be 50 laps to go left here tonight. Right in front of him now, Ford gonna look to the inside of Rochefort. This will battle for Pete, number 6. Out in front though, Jaden Kratachi still leading the way. We have 1 car stopped here on the front stretch. It looked like Jimmy Gauker. As Gauker having a issue here on the front stretch. We're going to take a look here, full speed, see what happened off of turn number 4. Looks like Gauker just gets a shot in the shorts from Andrew Hardings, and Gauker trying to save that car. Looks like Hayden Swank will get a piece of it there, but surprisingly right in front of the flag man. No yellow flag here out on the speedway, so now that puts the battle between Gauker and Swank for the lucky dog. So top 5 starting to check on out. Gauker able to get in line behind them. Then further on back, Ron Hart still trying to slice and dice his way up through the field here, as he looks to the inside now of Regan Ford for that 7th position, trying to get around Stephen Rochefort, as well as we get a caution flag here out on the speedway. It looks like Logan Powers around, and oh man, I think it involved our points leader Zach Nichols. So here coming off of turn number 4, oh, Powers gets clipped big time from Zach Nichols, and I heard over race control there, they saw the 44 tapping on his roof saying it was my bad. So Zach Nichols, late in this race, our points leader, is heading to the back of the pack. Man, oh man, this could blow the points wide open, because coming into tonight, Ron Hart sits 14 points back from Zach Nichols. Then it is 22 points back for Jeff Dillon. Of course, on this restart, Dillon will restart 3rd. Ron Hart will restart 4th. Man, oh man. Nichols will have to be digging here on this restart to try and salvage a decent day here tonight. Out in front though, Kratachi, Long, Making up 1 and 2, Jeff Dillon in third. Ron Hart was able to just snag the spot from Steven Rochford for fourth right before the caution. And then it's Rochford fifth, Regan Ford sixth, seventh Chuck Darling, eighth Andrew Payne, ninth Mark Fuquay, and then Devin McDonald inside the top 10 for the first time here tonight. So a tough break on that one for the 31 of Logan Powers. Was running inside the top 5. Now we'll restart 19th here tonight. So lights go out on the Speedway here. We get ready for our third restart of the night. Jaden Kurtachi will lead the field down to the restart zone. And I want to double check just to be sure. As yeah, Jaden Kurtachi has yet to visit victory lane here in the street stocks. Gonna try and change that tonight as the field dives down into turn number 1. Dylan will park it right on Ron Hart's nose. Dylan trying to get to the top side as quickly as possible. Was able to do it right there. Now Chuck Darling all the way to the bottom. Same with the 51 of Ron Hart. The battles are on now. 40 to go. It's time to go when you can get it. As 3 wide here for the battle for 5th. Ron Hart trying to get 3rd from Jeff Dillon. Andrew Payne gets loose off the nose of the 66. 3 wide still with the 66 in the middle. 20 up top, the 88 of Chuck Darling down low. Man, oh man, great racing. Door number to door number here tonight. As Darling will muscle Rochford to the top lane. That will shoot out Regan Ford. He will lose 2 spots. Ty Delphia will lose some spots as well. As I'm sure Rochford and Darling not going to be happy with each other at that one. Ford probably not going to be happy as well, but hopefully his spotter lets him know what kind of happened there, because those 3 cars battling for a space of just only 2 cars. Ron Hart still committed to that inside lane. That now has allowed Andrew Payne to get on by for that 4th position. So Payne riding around right on the back bumper of Jeff Dillon. Ron Hart still trying to work around that inside lane. Further on back, Zach Nichols only up to P18 at the moment. Still has a lot of cars out in front of him here tonight. As we see here, Braden Cook side by side with Ramsey. Then it's Zach Coyer with Mike McCaskill. Oh man, Logan Powers had to get on the binders big time to not get in the back bumper of McCaskill. We saw him get super sideways there. That allows the 44, Zach Nichols, to shoot it way low and try and get some positions here. Nichols will squeeze a 3 wide there off of turn number 4, make it work there, but that was very close. McCaskill will give Terrell a shot in the shorts there, 1 and 2. As now Logan Powers goes all the way to the bottom side. He will try and make that work, can't quite get it done there, as it's Nichols and McCaskill side by side with Coyer and Terrell right 2 by 2 in front of them. A little bit in front of them, Ty Delphia leaning on Devin McDonald. Also right below them, Caleb Ramsey gets big time out of sorts there in 1 and 2. Now it's McDonald's big time sideways. We see more and more drivers getting loose out here tonight. I think some of these right rears starting to go for some of these drivers. So that is something these guys are going to have to keep an eye on here. As further up front, we get a yellow flag here. I was just about to say Andrew Payne has gotten into 2nd. Ron Hart now up to 3rd. As we'll try and take a look here, see what brought out our 4th yellow of the night. It looks like Andrew Harding's off the pace here, so we'll try and see what is happening further up front. As a lot going on there, but I think that started quite a bit in front between like Logan Powers, Ethan Terrell, and maybe Zach Nichols, Zach Coyer. As yeah, Terrell just slid up into Nichols, sending Coyer on around. Once again, Dylan in the 7 having nowhere to go. He gets involved in another incident here tonight. And then the final one of this incident was Andrew Harding's getting on the binders there after the yellow flag was displayed. So a lot going on there in caution number 4, but some hard racing further on in the back of the pack. But here we go, lap 96, now 97 of 125. Once we take the green flag, it's going to be very close to the countdown clock here of 25 laps to go. Who saved enough? Whose tires are going away? We'll find out here quickly right after a quick commercial break. A quick word from our sponsors. Alrighty, folks, we come back here to Irwindale Speedway. Jaden Kritachi once again selects the inside row, now to his outside. A new car out on the front row. It is Andrew Payne. As Kritachi on the loud pedal, we go back to green flag racing. Kritachi away with a great start. Long trying to block Ron Hart. Can't quite do it there. Payne in the wall. Long gets in the Payne. They still keep it straight. We're still racing somehow. Man, oh man, some great racing out here at Irwindale. Now 3 wide further on back. Stephen Rochford gets turned in front of the field. Everyone piles on in as we have a big one out here tonight. Man, oh man. Like old Daryl Waltrip says, cautions breed cautions, and that is what we'll see here. As we take a look, see what happened is Stephen Rochford off of turn number 4. Him and Mark Fuquay leaning on each other. Then Regan Ford comes up the track, knocks them both, and then Fuquay comes back trying to get off the wall. Tags the right side of the 66, sends him on around. Braden Cook having nowhere to go. He will tag it. Same with Dev McDonald, but an awesome save from the 44 of Zach Nichols. Same with the 33 of Ty Delphia. Man, oh man. That was just a little taste of the racing action here left tonight here, folks, because we have a lot more to go as our 5th caution flag coming out very quickly compared to caution number 4. As looking deeper in the pack here, Hayden Swank having a rough night. He at least is back on the lead lap, so if there's some calamity out in front of him, he can make up some spots. Jimmy Gauker with no front nose is trying to crack his way into the top 15. He sits 16th, and then the cars involved in the incident for caution number 3 sit just outside of the top 10 now. Logan Powers 11th, Zach Nichols 12th. So some mid-race updates here tonight. As here we go, we get the lights out around the Irwindale Speedway. Once again, Jaden Kritachi choosing the inside lane as we get ready for our 5th restart of the night. And once we go back green, folks, it will be 21 laps to go. So not a lot of racing left here. Everyone's gonna be elbows out racing. If we thought they had the dial turned up before, it's gonna be up to 100% because here we go. Jaden Kratachi gets away with another great start. One car spinning in the back. That is Andrew Hardings. Hardings going on around. Everyone looks like able to get the cars woed on up. It looks like Ethan Terrell jump into pits. Not sure what happened to him, but here we go. Off of turn number 4 on the restart. Hardings not at the speed of the 23, and the 23 just hits the back of the 45, sends him on around. So pretty much right when we go to the green flag, we get our 6th caution of the night. As man, oh man, one guy that is loving to see these caution flags, that is the guy we're looking at here. Jaden Kratachi, our race leader, says, keep these cautions a-coming, you know. I can get these good restarts, shoot out front, and that keeps me away from the likes of Andrew Payne, who saved his tires, Ron Hart, who has saved his tires. So here we go in just one moment. Dave Payne gonna get one of those many laps back here tonight. As Jaden Kratachi once again gonna choose the inside lane. And if we get some green flag runs, we got a little static cameras here tonight. We might do a little turn 3, turn it up on the restart, but here we go. Jaden Kratachi, Andrew Payne once again on the front row here tonight at Irwindale with 16 laps to go once they take this green flag. Kratachi away with another good start, about a car length advantage over Andrew Payne as they dive down through turns 1 and 2. Payne will try and get that thing rolling on the top side. We'll see if he has a run. Greggy Long gonna look to the inside of Ron Hart for 3rd position. He will squeeze Ron up in the wall. We'll get into Payne. Payne will go around in front of the field. Man, oh man. Oh, as Mark Fuquay going around late in the yellow flag. So we'll take a look, see what happened to bring out another quick caution here tonight. Andrew Payne right front broke on that car. You can see how low that thing is. So we'll take a look, see what happened to Andrew Payne. So coming off of turn number 4, Payne gets a little bit of the wall and then actually gets tagged by Ron Hart, who was getting pushed up there a little bit by Greggy Long. Long gets turned hard inside to the inside wall. Ty Delphia makes hard contact to the inside wall. Oh, and then I think Fuquay gets turned by Ramsey, and Ramsey had a broken right front on that 41 machine. So that's what happened to Fuquay later in the yellow, but man, oh man, with that, I think it takes out at least 4 cars there as Caleb Ramsey, Stephen Rochford, Andrew Payne, Ty Delphia all on pit road here. So that will now make the top 5 the following: Jaden Kratachi, Ron Hart, Jeff Dillon, Greggy Long, and Regan Ford back into the top 5. So here we go, a flurry of cautions to end things here tonight. Greggy Long was able to keep his position, but as you can see, no nose on the 17. How fast can he be? But here we go, front row. Jaden Kratachi, Ron Hart. Hart being the only repeat winner here in the street stocks this season. Can he go for 3 wins? Can Kratachi pick up his first of the season? The field will dive down into turn number 1. Kratachi will shut the door on Ron Hart on the top side. Top 2 single filed out. Then it is Jeff Dillon, Greggy Long side by side for the final podium position. This time by at the stripe. 2 open palms from the flag man. It is 10 laps to go. With all this calamity towards the front, Logan Power, Zach Nichols up to 8th and 9th now. So they are rebounding from 4 cautions ago, being 19th and 20th. As Jeff Dillon able to muscle P number 3 away from Greggy Long. Dillon will go back to the top side, get a little tap from Long here, as now Regan Ford will try the same move on the 17. Long's car probably definitely a little wounded here as, oh, Jeff Dillon gets turned off the nose of Ford. No, you hate to see it, as Dillon will get that thing righted and rolling, but man, Dillon was having himself another great race. Talked to him on the podium last week, was hoping for some good finishes to end the season. He was closing the gap to Zach Nichols, but that is not the way the 52 will want to finish this race. But a quick claim there from Ford in the 20, so both the 52 and the 20 will go to the back of the field. So a tough break late for many drivers inside the top 5. Seems like the treacherous point here on these restarts here late is that 3rd to 5th position. All those guys have been getting cleaned out in these last 4 cautions, as now the top 5, Kratachi, Hart still 1 and 2. Then it is Greggy Long back up into 3rd. How about this, guys? Chuck Darling up into 4th, and what a rebound for this guy. The 31 of Logan Powers up into 5th. As man, oh man, I think with this, folks, we won't have a green-white checker, but if we get any yellow from this point until we see the white flag, we will have our 1 attempt at a green-white checkered here. As here we go at the stripe, Jaden Kratachi choosing high or low. Once again, gonna choose the inside lane like he's been doing all night long. But some names inside the top 10 for the first time here tonight. Braden Cook now up to 7th. Zach Coyer in 8th. Jimmy Gauker with that damaged race car 9th. And then Daryl Dillon up into the top 10 once again. So some big time rebounds for quite a few drivers, as here we go. Jaden Kratachi fires on off. We go back for our 8th restart of the night. Right behind them, 3 wide here going into turn number 1. Long will try and get clear. He cannot. He will push Chuck Darling right against the fence. 3 wide for 3rd down the backstretch. Logan Powers going to go all the way to the bottom. Long's going to stick right on the door of Darling. Darling's going to be able to squeeze on through. Now Braden Cook all the way to the bottom. Popsicle sticks up in the air, and contact between the teammates. Ron Hart gets turned off the nose of Chuck Darling. Oh man, oh man. Those two not going to be happy with each other. Ron Hart was also having himself a great points night here tonight, and that goes right out the window with 2 to go as Ron Hart, Chuck Darling make contact off of turn number 2. As we take a look here in 1 and 2 to see what happened here off the corner. And yeah, it looks like Darling not expecting Hart to run as low as he was to keep that car pinched on down. Just got into the back of the 51, maybe watching the mirror of Greggy Long, but gets into the back bumper of his teammate. And man, oh man. As with that yellow, folks, we will have our one and only attempt at a green-white checkered here on the restart. It will be Jaden Kratachi once again, the only car that stayed in the same position, it seems like, for these last 5 cautions. Greggy Long now up to second once again. And look at this guy. Back up to the front. Zach Nichols will restart in third. Braden Cook inside the top 5. He will restart fourth. And Logan Powers rounding out the top 5 here of the restart. So with Dave Payne staying on out, he goes all the way from 25th with those connection issues. Will get himself a top 20 finish with the race of attrition here late in tonight's running. So here we go. It's going to be Kratachi and Long on the front row of the restart. Both of these guys looking for their first street stock win. Zach Nichols looking for win number 2. Cook looking for his first ever ASRC win and his first ever ASRC top 5. Here we go. Green-white checker number 1 underway. Kratachi and Nichols fire away together beautifully. They go 1 and 2 down into turn number 1. Logan Powers to the inside here of Greggy Long for third. Braden Cook hanging on to fourth. As here we go, Nichols goes all the way down to the Speedway. Kratachi will stay against the fence. They'll go door to door. They will almost wreck at the start-finish line, but white flag, 1 more lap to go. Logan Powers, all sorts of sideways, 4, 5 wide off of turn number 2. Do they survive? No, they don't. Logan Powers goes on around, but off of turn number 4, Zach Nichols goes for the crossover. Jaden Kratachi will cross him on over and pick up the win as Calamity off of turn number 4 as drivers try to make it across the stripe. But wow, what a race for Kratachi and Nichols at the start-finish line. Kratachi will beat Nichols by a car length, and Jada Kratachi will pick up his first race 1 wrap street stock win. So here we go. We take a look here at the move through 3 and 4. Zach Nichols will sail it all the way down to that inside lane. We'll put it all the way down almost on the grass. Get that thing super sideways. And then Jaden Kratachi slams on the binders, turns that car left, and just drives underneath the 44 machine to beat him off to the stripe. Wow, a great finish there. But then further on back, we got to take a look, see what happened. We saw Logan Powers get turned there down the backstretch. Almost hits the opening there. And then it's, Daryl Dillon getting a bump from Jimmy Gauker. That what turns them. Then it's Hardings, I think, getting in the back of the 18. Dillon goes on around. Then everyone else just trying to sneak on through, and big-time Calamity. But here in just one moment, top 3 we're going to talk to here after a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We still got the post-race show to go.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams, race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iracing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we come back here to the Irwindale Speedway and chat with our top three finishers. First driver we'll be talking to is the 17 machine of Greggy Long. Greggy, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yes, I do. What's up, guys?
How are we feeling here tonight? A crazy one to end that, a flurry of yellows to finish that one. I mean, a lot of calamity going on around you, my man. How'd you get the job done when it's all said and done?
Well, man, I had my teammate up there up front. We started deep, a little deep in the invert, a little deeper than probably what we could have been. I mean, the times were so close, it's hard. And this track was really, really greasy in qualifying, so I was thinking for sure I was going to miss the invert. But, yeah, me and Jaden started back there, and we made it a plan. We had to get to the front quick so we didn't burn our right fronts off. Well, it turns out we didn't have to worry about the right front. It was the right rear that we had to worry about.
Yeah, and how difficult was it to manage those tires? Because we saw the likes, of Andrew Payne coming up there late in the race, Ron Hart, that saved their tires from the beginning. How were you able to hold them off, and how'd you make that tire last this 120 laps, 25 laps even?
Oh, we got out front and we started pacing, just keeping a pace to where we weren't a lot slower than the guys behind us. But Payne and Ron, they did a great job. A great job saving tires, and they had a few tough breaks tonight, which costed them good positions in finish. Aggressive racing got to a little crazy here, but it's to be expected on a track that's one groove when you're racing, and you can make a groove work one lap and the bottom groove don't work the others.
Yeah, and how difficult was it to make these grooves work? Because like you said, it seemed very topside dominant, so everyone muscling to get to the top side. I mean, there had to be a lot of close calls where you guys didn't think you were quite clear and people still clearing themselves, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. You get to that bottom and you got to hit it perfect, and it's so hard to hit it like perfect because if you don't hit it perfect, you're gonna come off the track loose or you're gonna come off the track shoving the nose. And the top side is really good here, and you can't really kill the momentum on the top side unless you throw one of those slider lines to get in front and block the leader or block the guy that's faster than you behind you, which it kills the momentum of you. So if they make a good move, they getting by you. It's a really tough track to pass on.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way. And Greggy, I'm sure you don't know it, but you finished that race with no nose. So after that big hit, I want to say with Andrew's spin, how damaged was the car and how much did that affect your game plan going forwards and even your thought process, let's say?
Well, unfortunately, it definitely killed the car. My front end was just shoving up the track after that. After I was super loose to begin with, and then it just got too tight after I wrecked. A few tough breaks up there in the top five, a few more than I would like to see. I'd have liked to see that go green. I feel like that could have been some fun racing without any damage. I think I would have been able to keep up with Zach and Jaden, but they drove a great race, and I was just trying to wheel the car enough to where I could get it loose, but then Ron and his teammate Chuck got into it in front of me, and there was really nowhere for me to go. So um, I shot down to the bottom and hoped that it made it work. And hey, we ended up P3. I can be more excited about it.
Yeah, luckily all those incidents not really involving you. You somehow able to squeak through it, keep your momentum up, and all said and done, finish a P number 3. I'm sure you'll take that walking out of here tonight with how this race finished.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think this is a big turn. I've said it before. I'll say it again. This is a big turn towards a momentum gain on my end. We've had a few rough weeks in the late models and street stocks. Last night I was running P4, P3, um, and got wrecked in somebody else's menace mayhem. Um, which I sucked to see that. That was on the inner oval. That's a fun track too. But there's nothing sweeter than finishing high in a street stock that I'm not very good in.
Yeah, this makes it your second podium finish and your second top 5 of the season. So I'm sure still some bigger tracks left in the schedule here. How you feel about the rest of the schedule and any other races still circled on the schedule for you?
Oh yeah, I feel like I'm definitely decent at Southern National. So we'll see if the setup is really good. We'll see what we can do there. I got a lot of laps around there in every class: supers, mods, late model stocks, and the street stocks. So we'll see what we can do. That's going to be a very fun track that could be very good racing with the top and bottom line working there most of the time.
Yeah, definitely. It should be an exciting show for next week when these guys head over to Southern. So, Greggy, before we let you go and celebrate your podium position here tonight, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank for this number 17 machine.
I'd like to thank JGR Designs. They make me sick paint schemes every week, and without them, my car would look like crap. So, JGR Racing. I'm on the JGR Racing team with Jimmy Gauker, and I'd like to thank Zach and Jaden and everybody from No Chance Motorsports for kind of bringing me on and letting me hang out with them in the Discord and working with me on things that I struggle at and pushing me to run better every week. Because after getting beat so many weeks in a row, it makes you want to get better.
Yes, that it does, Greggy, and we saw you continue to get better through the season, so I'm sure you'll only continue that upwards trajectory. So you, my man, have yourself a great rest of the night, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again here in the near future.
Yep. Thank you, Brett. Thank you for everybody who broadcasts, and thank you guys for tuning in and watching the ASRC. It's a great league, man.
Yeah, it's our pleasure having you out here putting on the show for all of us to enjoy. So, Greggy, have a good one.
Yep, you too.
Alrighty, folks, that was our third place finisher, Greggy Long. Now we head to our runner-up finisher, our points leader. It's the 44 of Zach Nichols. Zach, do you got a copy?
Yep, we got you.
Alrighty, man. So we'll start at the end of the race, work our way forward. So, last lap, you knew you had to make a move. Was that your best attempt you had? And what was going through your mind on that white flag when you saw smoke in the mirror as you guys took it?
Yeah, I knew we had a decent gap till third, so I was just gonna throw a Hail Mary into 3 and see if it worked, and it didn't. But yeah, I mean, it was a fun little green white checker there. I'm surprised we ended up getting all the way back up to second after the race we had. But yeah, it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, it seemed like it. And yeah, Zach, talking about your race, race of adversity for you. I think with the third caution of the night, you and Logan Powers go all the way to the back. It seemed like it was very tough to make up positions, but then we had caution after caution, and somehow it seemed like you start gaining positions at least 2 cars every caution.
Oh yeah, for sure. We were just we're biding our time and trying just to get through all the wrecks that were happening. Sometimes we're in the middle of them, so luckily we kept most of the fenders on the car. I'm not sure if all of them are on it, but yeah, we got into Logan there. I think towards the middle part of the race, and which I want to apologize about that. He was running like a high entry, like mid to low exit, and I was not thinking when I threw that slider on him, and I just got him in the lever and spun him out. But yeah, we went to the back, and we're in a couple of more crashes, and luckily we were able to hang on and get a P2.
Yeah, definitely a good point tonight because, once you went to the back, it seemed like it could have been a lot worse of a night for you. Jeff Dillon, Ron Hart up towards the front, then both those guys having tough breaks towards the end, and you somehow walk away when it's all said and done on the podium.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure if Chuck got into Ron or something, but it seems like just the teams, like the teammates just wreck each other all the time. Like I'm wrecking my teammates and everything, and yeah, I might need to change the dang paint scheme here soon because I feel like this thing's cursed because I wrecked someone every dang week. It feels like.
Yeah, you think red, everyone would see your car a little bit better, but that's maybe not the case. And like you said, Zach, a lot of teammate on teammate violence we saw the last couple weeks.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, hopefully we're gonna have a throwback paint scheme next week, so hopefully that paint scheme brings good luck, and we'll have another one the next week. Not the red car because I think this thing's cursed, and hopefully that next paint scheme brings some good luck.
There you go. And yeah, with Southern National being next week, any teasers of a throwback you're going to? Any error or anything like that?
I don't even know what I'm gonna run. We'll figure out here over the week, and you'll see it when it hits the racetrack.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So yeah, Zach, getting closer to the end of the season here, looking at the schedule, only a few other small tracks, then some big tracks still left. Southern National, Nashville Fairgrounds, Bullring, North Wilkesboro. I mean, of those tracks, any of them you still looking forwards to?
I mean, I like the Bullring, but I'm not sure. I mean, anything can happen in each race, so we're just gonna take each race and see if we can be there at the end.
Yeah, and here tonight, a long race. Tire strategy was a big thing. What was your game plan going through? Because it seemed like you stayed mid-pack for most of the race, started to work your way up, the contact with Powers, but how difficult was it to pass with this one-sided track as well as trying to keep those tires underneath you?
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of was going easy there towards the beginning of the race, just hoping that the right front would stay on it, and it did not. We were pretty tight there, so with it being so tight, the bottom really wasn't usable or viable. So yeah, we just went slow there at the beginning, and luckily with the cautions there at the end, we were able to get our way back up there.
Yeah, definitely. And I gotta ask maybe for some insight for people watching at home. You say a car starts to get tight. What's your first adjustment, let's say you make? Do you start backing up the corners, start changing your lane, or brake bias adjustment? What's the go-to for the 44 machine?
Usually I back up the corners and I bop that brake bias back. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you're just not not good that day, and it seems like that's how we were today. We weren't that great because Jaden and Greggy were pulling away from us there, and yeah, we were able to get a good finish.
Yeah, that you were, and a fighting shot at it. I mean, you threw one punch there at the end, hoping for the best. Kurtachi, of course, crossing you on over, taking his first street stock win of the season, but nonetheless, a great rebound for you, P number 2. So, Zach, before we let you go and celebrate, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you for the final time and thank who you got to thank, either sponsors on the car, some of those teammates, or maybe some people watching at home.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Kearney's Complete Auto Service, Corrigan Oil Company, PSS&C. They help us down out in the real life stuff, and you guys for broadcasting. You guys do a great job week in and week out. All the league admins for putting this whole league on, and my dad's watching, my Uncle Kenny's watching. I'd like to shout them both out. I haven't shouted them out in the last couple weeks, and my dad's been yelling at me. So good I got that out there. But yeah, we're looking forward to the rest of the season, and hope we can close it out.
Yep, Zach Nichols returns on the podium. So Zach, You have yourself a great rest of the night, and we'll see you next week at Southern National with some throwback schemes.
Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty, folks, that was our runner-up finisher, Zach Nichols, picking up P number 2. Now we'll head to our race winner, and that being the 11 machine of Jaden Kratachi. Jaden, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, man. First win of the street stocks. How we feeling, my man?
Finally got the monkey off our back is how I'm feeling. We've been struggling in straight stocks this season. Obviously finishing good, but just can't pull off the wins.
Yeah, it definitely is a race of attrition, a race of luck, especially with these street stocks. But tonight, Jaden, all the cards fall in your favor. And I mean, it wasn't an easy one. 5 restarts in the last, I want to say, 40 laps. How'd you manage that? And how'd you manage that green-white checkered there at the end?
Honestly, the biggest part, I knew I'd be okay as long as I hit my shifts. Last night with the late model stocks, I missed it twice, and I don't even know how that was possible with that car. Tonight, we made sure we hit them all, executed, and made sure we got out front and clear of everybody so we can go on and take home a win.
Yeah, and you did an awesome job on the restarts. I was surprised that every time you picked the inside lane, topside preferred here. What was the decision with the inside lane all night long?
With the decision for that, mainly because you can cut down the whole entire racetrack on the restarts, run them up to the wall, and then you just get a big run, and you're almost guaranteed clear by turn 1 as long as you catch them off guard a little bit. So that's the reasoning behind that, and thankfully it paid off about every time.
Yeah, it seemed like it did. Every time it seemed like you were shot out of a cannon, able to get clear by the time you got to turn number 1. And then on that green-white checkered, Zach Nichols throws the last Hail Mary, slides up in front of you. I assume you knew you had to cross him on over, go where he wasn't going.
Well, I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting him to really... I mean, I expected him to dive into the corner, but I wasn't expecting him to be like 90 degrees straight head on the wall. So that caught me off guard a little bit, but I knew what I had to do. Obviously, I've got to back up the corner and cross it over and hope it sticks. And clearly it did, and like I said, puts us in victory lane tonight.
Yeah, that it does. And, Jaden, most laps led was by you, of course, here tonight. And I got to ask, it seemed like of course, one of the longer races of the season. So how'd you manage those tires to keep underneath you and keep out in front? Because we saw the likes of, Ron Hart, Andrew Payne put some pressure on you after they saved tires for, the first 50 laps while you're out front trying to walk away.
Yeah, thankfully, I'd say about probably until we finally started, it was about time to go. It's probably like 80 lap 80, lap 90, just kind of managed them, just babying the throttle, babying it into the corner. And meanwhile, from what I was hearing, everybody else is getting tight. I'm over here and started to get free with the car. So just managing that right front made such a difference tonight, and just being able to keep the tires under it definitely made a huge difference throughout the night. And yeah, it was definitely worth doing because it paid off pretty well.
Yeah, that it did, picking up your win. And I'm a big stats guy, so looking at the stats of ASRC, this is now your 7th career win, putting you on your own in P number 12 of overall wins here at ASRC. Now 1 win back from Braxton DeWeese, and then I want to say about 9 or so back from your teammate Zach Nichols, but still very impressive in the limited starts you have.
Yeah, we got to make sure we get past that 8 car, But yeah, I mean, obviously super blessed for it and super grateful for all the wins and how we've been performing in this league. Definitely would like to be up there a little further than what we are right now, but obviously I'm not going to complain one bit.
Yeah, of your, I think now 29 starts, visiting victory lane 7 times. Some pretty good stats there for the number 11 machine. And, it seems like you and your teammates always have speed each week in, week out, qualifying well as running well in the race. How do you differentiate between that fast qualifying pace versus, hey, this is the race pace? What do you guys kind of do, or what's kind of the mindset there?
Well, tonight I'll say I went in completely blind into qualifying. I only had 3 or 4 laps of practice. I got back from church with 5 minutes to join the session and do a couple practice laps. So thankfully Zach signed me up for the race, so I didn't miss it. But yeah, just going on each week. Usually just back your pace down a couple tenths and just keep that wheel as straight as possible. Be as easy as you can on the throttle. That's usually the main goal behind it. But yeah, it also depends on the track. I mean, from here, this is one of my best playgrounds, I'd say, on the sim. And we'll say go to Slinger. Slinger is more aggressive, and it's a lot harder to manage there, I'd say, than a bigger track like this.
I appreciate the insights there, Jaden. And yeah, one other thing, you mentioned Irwindale Speedway being one of your favorites. How good does it feel to get a redemption on the big track after that late model stock finish between you and your teammate and, of course, Braxton?
Oh, trust me, this feels great. Yeah, that win still stings a little bit. I'm gonna be honest with you, it still stings, but we move on and we go on to the next week. And look, tonight worked out. We got redemption on it, so can't complain about that one bit.
No, you cannot. I'm sure this win helps that wound just that little bit more. So, Jaden, before we let you go and celebrate down in Victory Lane, keep the party rolling all night long, I'm going to go hand the mic over to you and thank who you got to thank, either sponsors, teammates, or maybe some people tuning in at home.
Obviously, I want to thank you for broadcasting, everybody who puts on this league, Tanner, you, Andrew, and whoever else I'm forgetting. Sponsors, I want to thank R&B Car Company, Preferred Warranties, Community-Wide Federal Credit Union, TechWorks Trailer Sales, United Plumbing, R&M Towing. They're new with us this year. I probably said that before, but Oaks Graphics as well. That's my graphics business. But yeah, just everybody who's helped me throughout my real-life racing and all my friends on the sim. Can't thank them all enough. It's definitely means a lot to be able to go out and win and be competitive in these races, even though it's a sim. I mean, you still work hard to get through the field, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't.
All righty, Jaden. Well, I'm sure party will be rolling late into the night here with the 11 crew. So you, my man, have a great rest of the night, and we'll be sure I'm talking with you in the future.
Yep, sounds good. You have a good night, too.
Alrighty, folks, that was our race winner, Jaden Kratachi, getting the job done here at Irwindale and getting redemption from the last time we were here with the late model stock. So big congrats to Jaden, as this is his first street stock win here with the Race 1 wraps. Alrighty, we'll run through tonight's finishing results and then get you guys set on off for the rest of the night. So Jaden Kratachi picks up the win here. Zach Nichols second. Greggy Long in P number 3. Finishing in P number 4, his first top 5 of ASRC. It is the 038. That is Braden Cook. And then Zach Coyer in the 13, rebounding to P number 5. Jimmy Gauker involved in that second yellow. Rebounds all the way to finish in P number 6. 7th, going to the 45 of Andrew Hardings. Finishing P number 8 is Stephen Rochefort in the 66. 9th, going to Hayden Swank, who at one point was 1 lap down. Rounding out the top 10 is Mark Fuquay in the 6th. 11th, going to the 52, that is Jeff Dillon. 12th is Devin McDonald in the 18. 13th is the 7 of Daryl Dillon. 14th, going to the 3, that is Mike McCaskill. Ron Hart will finish 15th. 16th, going to Regan Ford. 17th, John DeMeester. 18th is Logan Powers. P number 19 will go to the 88. That is Chuck Darling. 20th is Dave Payne. 21st, going to Caleb Ramsey. 22nd is Ty Delphia. 23rd, Andrew Payne. 24th, Ethan Terrell. And then rounding out the field here tonight will be Evan Mayberry. So that will do it here tonight for the Race 1 Wrap Street Stock Series at Irwindale. Be sure to tune in next week because, like we mentioned before, it is Throwback Week. So we'll get some throwback schemes on a lot of these cars. Will be definitely cool to watch. And, of course, Southern National, another good track for these guys to beat and bang out, a little bit shorter than here. So I'm sure it will be just as action-packed. Of course, we got to highlight some of our series sponsors. The big one being Race 1 Wraps. Be sure to like them on Facebook at Race 1. They have a full service of creative specialty for race car products, whether wraps, t-shirts, sponsor boards, you name it. Race One Wraps can get the job done for you. Be sure to check them on out. Of course, LaPlante Racing Products, Boardwalk Subs, as well as Postma Flooring. Of course, me with Turn 3 Racing Network, we got to give a shout out to Premier Setups as they are supporting Turn 3 and we want to show our support back. We have a link in the description. The first one being the one to take you to Race One Wraps. The one further on down will take you to Premier Setup Shops. Even if you don't want to buy anything, a click will go a long way. Show them that they're support of us as we are supporting them. Also with Turn 3 Racing Network, we have a lot of great racing, a lot of great broadcasters calling some of the best virtual racing throughout the week. So be sure to tune on in. Of course, the American Sim Racing Club Tuesday nights have the late model stocks. Can watch most of these drivers do battle in a late model. And then, of course, Wednesday nights, you get yours truly up on the mic and get to enjoy this great racing action. Got to give a big shout out to all the live viewers and the replay viewers. Have been getting some awesome numbers here with the American Sim Racing Club Racing on both series of viewership. So have to say my thanks from myself to all you fans tuning on in. Really do appreciate each and every one of you guys. So that will do it here tonight from Irwindale. Everyone take care, stay safe. We will catch you in 1 week's time for the throwback race at Southern Nationals. So I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.